What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of JK Sports. It's your host, Kevin Humphreys, and joining me as he does every episode, it's Jack Feldman. Jack, unfortunately, I was at the BYU game Saturday night, and then Sunday had a bit of a sore throat and lost my voice, so we haven't been able to record, but we got a whole weekend of football to react to. We got the college football playoff rankings that come out tonight. Won't be talking a whole lot of hoops this episode unless LeBron or Devin Booker do something crazy in the next hour while we're watching or whatever. But first, before we get into all that, we have to check in with our first segment, and it's our take tracker. And if you haven't listened before, basically, these are takes that Jack and I have had on the podcast before that we're revisiting and assessing if they're good takes, bad takes, are they still alive, is the take completely dead? And Jack, without further ado, what is your take that you've been tracking?
The take that I have been looking at recently is I said that the Bears were a good football team, but they were in the wrong division at the time. But it looks like I was right for half of it. They are a good football team, but the other half was incorrect because they're at the top of their division at 7-3. And
Yep.
so that's my takeaway. That's my take tracker for right now is the Bears are a good football team. They're 7-3, atop of the best division in football, in my opinion. They are above the Lions, they're above the Packers, and the Vikings. And so the Bears are looking really good right now.
Yep, the fourth place schedule is definitely helping them out so far. And which is something that we'll get to much later in the podcast. But look, I agree. I think that might be one of your best takes that you've had. We've been doing this for a couple of months now. I definitely say that's one of the top three, ball knower takes that you've had so far. And it's crazy. Still not like Caleb Williams hasn't been doing anything super special, but the Bears are just a good football team. It's crazy to see what just having a competent head coach can do for a football team with McDonald there. And, the Bears are a good football team. Unfortunately, I think the division's fallen off a little bit. The Packers, as we've seen, have been kind of up and down. We'll get to them later as well. 9 sucks. I'm sorry. Like, no bigger fan of JJ McCarthy than me. But 9 sucks, at least for right now. His career isn't over yet, but 9 stinks right now. And then the Lions have had to play a gauntlet of a schedule. And offensively things just aren't clicking quite the same as they did last year. And so yeah, the Bears have seized the opportunity to take advantage of their schedule, to just play competent football, and 3, take control of the division, which they are right now. So 100% agree with that take. For me, Jack, what happened this Saturday? What died this Saturday?
Bama.
Yeah.
Roll
And
Tide.
so here's the thing. Like, I still think that take is, I still think that that's a good take, because if you look at it, Bama outgained Oklahoma like almost double in yards. And like, people make a big deal out of success rate. I think it's funny for the memes, but also like Alabama's success rate thoroughly outplayed, dominated Oklahoma. It's just that they made a couple mistakes and came back to haunt them. Obviously, the field goal kicker stinks for Alabama as well, so that's definitely part of it. But there was enough in that game that told me Alabama's not the best team in the SEC. I'm not sure it's Texas A&M. I think it's probably Georgia. But the thing is, Georgia's probably not going to make the the SEC championship game unless Alabama loses one more time. And so, like, I think I think Georgia's the best team in the SEC, but they won't be in the SEC championship game. So Alabama winning the SEC championship is still on the table, but they are not the best team in the SEC. They can't run the football. Everything's on Ty Simpson's shoulders, and he can't carry all that weight, in my opinion, to be the best team in the conference. The defense is pretty good. They just needed to make a couple more. They just didn't make the plays that Oklahoma's defense did, and that's why Bama lost. And they're not the best team in the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that take. Is Alabama a good top 10 team? In my opinion, yes. But Georgia is playing the best football that they've played in quite some time.
Yeah,
Definitely this year. They're playing their best football right now, and so for that, I mean, I do agree with that. Is Georgia is the best team in the SEC, and if I'm facing Georgia any moment, anytime soon, I'd be scared.
100%. And that gets us into our early bird takes a worm, and I'll just dive right in because we're on the topic. I think Georgia's going to play in the national championship game. Now, if they're the 4 seed or the 5 seed, then they would play Ohio. Then they would play Ohio State in the semifinals instead of the college football playoff national championship game. But when they do play Ohio State, which I think is going to happen, I think that's your national championship game right there. Just how last season, I think Texas Ohio State was the national championship. And we kind of knew that watching that football game. We kind of knew that that was probably the national championship. Notre Dame did give Ohio State a good run, but it was a screen pass and a pick six in that game for Ohio State. There were the two differences. Other than that, Texas and Ohio State were the same team. I think Georgia is going to give Ohio State the best run for their money this year. I'm not putting my neck out there and saying Georgia's going to win the national championship, but I do think with Kirby Smart, I think Stockton is playing his best football. Probably doesn't have the stats, but as far as like quarterbacks in the country that you would pick right now, he's in your top five. Just how well he's been playing the last few weeks, and Kirby's got him. He's molded them into form, and they aren't 21 or 22 Georgia, but they're definitely a top 2 or 3 team in the country, in my opinion, right now.
But yeah, 100%. And that's the cool thing about Georgia, in my opinion. It's like they never have a Heisman type player.
Yeah,
It seems like, but it always seems like they're top 5 team in the nation, which is
100%.
something that I absolutely love because it brings back to the fact that football is a team sport. Sports are for teams. It's not individual play. And so,
Yep.
yeah, they haven't had a Jalen Milroe. They haven't had a Trevor Lawrence. They haven't had a Justin Fields like these other top
Caleb
dogs.
Williams and
Exactly. The
yep.
list goes on and on. But Georgia hasn't had that. But that doesn't take away the fact that they're national champs and they get there every single year. So that's something that I've really enjoyed about this Georgia team that I feel like gets overlooked a lot of the time.
Yeah, I mean Kirby Smart, I mean he's the best coach in the country, and he's shown that. He's just outcoached guys like Heupel early in the season. He outcoached Ole Miss. I mean, that Georgia defense, it does worry me because they gave up a score every single possession against Ole Miss for 3 quarters, but when they needed it, they dug down deep and honestly, like heart of a champion type stuff, like that's what this Georgia team has, is they just have the heart of a champion, and it's because of their head coach. He's a psychopath. This team is a psychopath, and it shows against teams where the coach on the other sideline just isn't wired that way, you know? Like when they play, and if they do play Bama again, I think Georgia wins by 2 touchdowns. Like the way that he's wired, like he is the most competitive, like I will run through a brick wall head coach. in college football. And when he goes up against these like soft-spoken coaches like Heupel and Lane's not soft, but he's like just a little wacky, but like Kirby's cutthroat, man. And this Georgia team has taken on the identity of their head coach, and it's awesome. Jack, what is your early bird take?
Okay, I have no idea when this is going to happen, but it is going to happen. And that's we're going to see too many snubs in the college football playoffs to not move it to a 14 or 16 team playoff. You saw the adjustment in the NBA with the play-in tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to make its mark in the college football playoff. I think 12 is just too less of a teams, especially if you're getting a group of 5 in there and a winner of each conference. Because you're now looking at the fact that only the top 10 get in because of the group of 5 and the ACC. So that means right now the line is at BYU, Utah, Miami, Vanderbilt. All those teams are going to miss out because of the cutoff. And I think that's going to change. I think we're going to see a 14-team playoff where the top 2 seeds get a bye, or a 16-team where everyone just plays in the first round at home, which I would honestly love, because who wouldn't want to watch another Ohio State Texas matchup that we started the year in? And so I think I think that's where they need to go, just to get more teams involved. It brings more chaos with the parity with the college football these days. I think the parity in college football is at its peak. I think every team could be every team. And I think that's just going to continue to grow with the NIL. And so, with that being said, I think it's going to have to include more teams in the future.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I personally wish the playoff was only like 8 teams. I think that would kind of be be the perfect mix. But then you wouldn't get the automatic bids if it was just 8 teams, which I'd like to save these conferences and to save, kind of like basically the non-power teams in the SEC and the Big Ten. Like you need these automatic qualifying teams to get in, just to keep these conferences from getting left in the dust. So I agree. I think the college football playoff probably needs to expand, but I think the bigger issue than expansion is just that, Jack, like in so many of these conferences, like the ACC and the SEC, how many teams are still like realistically alive to make the conference championship game? There's just too many. There's just too many teams. The schedules are imbalanced. You have a team like Georgia Tech where they've played basically no one. They've played basically no one this entire season. I don't even know if they have a ranked win on their resume. And like, yes, they're gonna play Georgia at the end of the season, but like they have Pitt. They have Pitt this weekend. And if they beat Pitt, they're in the conference championship game. And they could go against someone else in the conference championship game that has played like 2 of the same teams. Like these conferences are just too big, especially to only be playing, 8 games a season. Thankfully, the SEC is moving to 9. The ACC should move to 9 and keep all the rivalries intact. Um, it's just the conferences are too big. I don't know if we need to go back to divisions. I don't know if we need to go. I don't like honestly what would work really well is if you had 5 conferences with 12 teams in each conference, and you had those teams in divisions, and then you played the cross division teams, like the other like 3 or 4 teams, like you just switch off every single year. Like that's how it should be. It was a pretty good system back when we had 5 power conferences. Hopefully someday we can all combine into under one banner and then split back into 5, distribute the revenue. Like that will make the product so much better. because these super conferences, it's just killing, the drama because none of these teams, like the conference championship game doesn't matter as much because these conferences are so big, and you'll have a team like Miami who's not going to make the conference championship game most likely, still make the college football playoff. If they continue to win and teams around them continue to lose, like it's just crazy, and it just makes me sick.
I definitely agree. And I think that jumps right into my just kidding take where it is a joke, but also I do somewhat agree, and that's it's better to lose than win in college football at this point. It is better to lose against good opponents than to win against 500 and better teams, which is just mind-boggling. If you're in the
Mm-hmm.
SEC, you get the benefit of the doubt. Oh, you lost to Georgia. Oh, you lost to Texas. Oh, you lost to Ole Miss. Well, good job. It was a good fight.
Yeah,
But then if BYU loses to Texas Tech, who is a top 7 team, 8 team at the time, they drop 5 spots or 4 spots or whatever it was. And I mean, the
Bama
list just
Bama dropped 6 spots though.
they did. And so that was one good thing that I really enjoyed is yeah, you did see that Bama team go from 4 to 10, which was really good to see. But it's also the narrative of Notre Dame losing to A&M and um, Miami to begin the season, and then you play nobody the rest of the season. And it's just like, but they lost to 2 teams. Do we not remember them losing to these teams, or does it
Right.
just not matter? And so maybe the take is it's better to lose, but it's also better. It's even better to lose early,
Yeah.
which pitches the idea of okay, let's schedule all of our hard games at the beginning of the season and then just coast through the rest of the season. And at that point, where's the competitiveness of the sport, the love of the sport? And so I don't really know how to fix that. I don't really know if that's even a real conspiracy or anything like that. It seems like it at times, but also you see Bama lose and then they drop to 10th. They're still in the playoffs above one loss BYU to a top 10 team as well.
Yeah.
And so it just,
But shouldn't Bama get credit? Just to play devil's advocate, shouldn't Bama get credit for one beating Georgia, who is the fourth ranked team in the country, right? Then they beat Tennessee, who is in the rankings right now. I mean, that's debatable whether they should be ranked, but like they have a win against Tennessee. They beat Missouri on the road when Missouri had Bo Pribula starting. Um, and then let's see, what else did they do? Oh shoot, they played Vandy. They beat Vandy too, right? So shouldn't they also get credit for beating those teams? Like, I have no problem with them being ahead of a team like BYU, because you look at BYU's best win. They do have a win against Utah, but other than that, it's kind of hard to find a good win.
I mean, they're one of 4 teams in the country that have 5+ wins against bowl eligible teams. Bama is being one of the other ones. And so
Yeah,
Bama's a bad example because Bama has beaten a lot of good teams this year. They've
yeah,
taken care of business. They lost to Oklahoma, obviously, but they should definitely be a playoff team, in my opinion. But it goes
yeah,
back to that Notre Dame argument and even
yeah.
Oregon.
Notre Dame,
And Oregon's nine
Oregon
one.
is head scratching.
Yeah. Oregon's 9-1. They have one real opponent, honestly, this whole year, and that
Yep,
was their loss to Indiana. And then their next best win is against Northwestern.
Iowa,
So it just comes back
Iowa.
Iowa. That is correct.
Yeah, yep,
And so it just goes back to that fact of like, okay, yeah, you can't control the schedule necessarily, but at the same time, like, why are we rewarding these teams that lose to good opponents when they
yeah,
haven't beaten anyone either? Like I said, Bama is the one exclusive team that I really do think that they're ranked well, but it comes back to Notre Dame, Oregon, those type of teams where why are we ranking them so high? Because they lost to good teams.
Yep, 100% could not agree more. Just a couple other um, teams to look at. I did think it was interesting that Utah was ranked ahead of Miami, considering Utah's lost to like the two games on Utah's schedule that they like the two ranked teams that they've played, they lost. Unless Cincinnati's back in the ranking. Actually, no, because they lost Saturday, so they're definitely not. Um, well, I get okay, they did beat Arizona State, who's 25. But then you have a team like Miami who has a win against Notre Dame, still behind them, which is kind of crazy. You have Vanderbilt who, is 8-2 in the SEC. And Utah's still getting a lot of love, which is crazy to me. USC, Georgia Tech, that's kind of it for me as far as like teams that can get into the college football playoffs still as an at large. Georgia Tech's only, window to get in is win out, beat Georgia somehow, and then lose in the ACC championship game. They should be in. If they beat Georgia, they should be in my opinion. Um, I don't think they will because I don't know if you saw what happened to them. They were down. They were down double digits to Boston College on Saturday, which was nuts. Um,
Yeah.
let's look at Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M. Any problems there?
No, no problems there. I mean, you saw a hiccup from Texas A&M in the first half, but like any team, you're gonna have hiccups during the season, and it's the way you adjust. And they adjusted in the second half and blew them out 24-0 in the second half.
Yeah. Uh, Now let's get to Georgia, Texas Tech, Ole Miss, Oregon, the 4 one-loss teams right there. Do you think the committee got it right with those four? Obviously we said that Oregon is getting a lot of credit for not really playing a good football team or not really beating a good football team, but any other should Texas Tech be ahead of Georgia? Should Ole Miss be ahead of Texas Tech? Anything there that bothers you?
Not really. I really like this Texas Tech team. I think Texas Tech is ranked perfectly. Ole Miss and Oklahoma, I could see that being flipped around. That 6, 8, and 10, honestly, 6, 8, and 10. So Ole Miss, Oklahoma, and Bama. I think those should be the 6, 7, and 8 in however order you want to order them, and
Mm-hmm.
then Oklahoma and Notre Dame afterwards.
Yeah, I think I agree. Um, you know, BYU at 11. Uh, I think they need a team or two in front of them to kind of drop off. Like it'll be interesting because if Oregon loses at USC this weekend, is I think Oregon's like out, right? Like that's really their last like big opportunity to get a good win. And
Yes.
if they don't beat USC, they're probably done. If they do beat USC and they're 10-1, they probably deserve that to be 7, 8, or 9. Um, but for a team like BYU or Utah or even Miami, let's say to get back in, they probably need like Oklahoma to slip up and lose one more time. If Alabama makes the SEC championship game and loses, like, do you think there's any shot that I think they're in no matter what if they make the SEC championship game, but do you think they should?
I think so. I mean, the SEC is always really tough because it's like you just start on this whole carousel of, oh, this
Yeah.
team beat this team, but this team beat this team. Oh, but this team lost to this team. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just not nonstop with the SEC. And so, like, for me, the SEC really comes back to the eye test more than anything.
Mhm.
Um, just because, yeah, it's the SEC. They're full of good teams. But at the same time, what team is most deserving? And so you'll always see an SEC team get snubbed, for
Mhm.
example. Um, just because of the schedule that they played, unfortunately, the way that they
Yeah.
lost, when they lost, stuff like that. So I think they are deserving, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they do miss out.
Okay. Let's see. BYU, Utah, Miami. I think the committee did a good job there.
One thing real
Vanderbilt.
quick
Okay.
on that, um, I was thinking about it, and I think BYU has to go 12-1 to get in because if
So you
you
think
go
they have to
11,
win the you think they have to win the conference championship game?
yes, because the conference championship, they say you won't be penalized, but we will see with BYU assuming they get in to the conference championship because they get 11-1, assuming Oregon or one of these teams slip up, they'll be right at that cusp.
Mm-hmm.
And so you really have no room to mess up. And
Yeah,
so we'll see if the committee decides, okay, you really don't, nothing changes if you play that extra game. And if that's the case, then yes, they get in. I don't
yeah,
think that's going to be the case. And so that's why I think they're going to end up missing out by 1 or 2 spots because I think they're going to lose to Texas Tech again in Arlington.
probably.
And so that's why I think Utah has a better shot of getting into the playoffs right now than BYU does due to that factor of, well, analytically they do have a better chance right now.
Yeah,
Um, it's because Utah only has to play 2 more games. If they win out and BYU and another team slip up, they're the 10th spot and they're in.
yeah. I just I just think BYU would have to lose to Cincinnati, somehow make the conference championship game, and then lose that for Utah to get in. Like I just don't see how head to head, like if they have the same record and BYU has a win over Utah, I just don't see how. And it's not like anything fluky happened that game, right? Like both quarterbacks played. Like it's not a Florida State Alabama situation like we had a couple years ago. I just can't see how head to head doesn't matter in that case. I do think Miami and Vanderbilt is where things get hairy because teams will look and they'll be like, man, Miami, this and that. Like they beat Notre Dame. They've looked like a playoff team at times this season. 6 games into the season, we were like, man, this team's a national championship contender. And not the narrative should matter, but like it does. Like Notre Dame, or sorry, Miami having guys like Malachi Tony and their crazy good defensive line, like that matters. Vanderbilt being a 10-2 SEC team if they get there, like it's that I think is where BYU and Utah possibly get passed up for whatever reason at the end of the season. Um Same thing like USC. USC beats Oregon and they're 10-2 at the end of the season and they have wins over Michigan and Oregon. Like are they a team that could potentially like jump BYU and Utah at the end of the season? Like those are the teams that I'm very concerned about as a BYU fan. Um Probably not if BYU goes 12 or 11-1 and then loses to Texas Tech on a game-winning field goal in the conference championship game. I think they should still be in over those other two teams, but if they go in and get waltzed by Texas Tech again, then maybe it gives the committee the ability to say, "Oh, well, Texas Tech is just head and shoulders above every team in this conference," and that's that. Looking at the end of the rankings, any team that you think got snubbed, is Tulane the right team? Like, are they the best G5 team right now? Do you agree with that?
I do. And that was another take that I had. I said Tulane would be the G5 representative, and
They're
I
looking
think
like
they
it
got
right
that right.
now.
What?
They're looking like it right now.
They are. And so they're sitting at 8-2. They have to win their conference championship still. Still a lot to be done. for Tulane, but as of right now, I mean that's going to be the G5 that you're looking at to play to play Texas Tech, which would be awful.
Oh, that would not be pretty. Uh,
No.
if Retzloff goes in and plays that defense, I think it might be 42-0 in the first quarter with all the YOLO balls he's going to be putting up under pressure. And is John Summerall coaching someplace else? Has it already come out that he's going to a different school before they even play that game too? Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
A couple more college football points to get to, Jack. And this is you could call it my just kidding take of the year, possibly. Um, or you can call it a conspiracy theory, but Lane Kiffin, Jack. What have you made of his whole tour? His basically call it his future coaching tour. What have you made of that?
Yeah. It feels weird. Just weird. I just
Yeah,
it just it almost seems like a movie. It just
right.
doesn't feel real. It seems like a just made up story headline, just
The
something.
ultimatum.
Yes. And so it's just something like it just doesn't really wrap around my head, but it's like it actually is happening right now.
Okay, do you think he's gonna stay at Ole Miss, or you think he's going someplace else? It doesn't matter where. Do you think he's staying, or do you think he's leaving?
I think he's leaving.
LSU or Florida?
Think he goes to LSU.
Okay. See, that's probably I think that's probably his best move is to go to LSU. But hear me out, Jack. Hear me out. Lane Kiffin, smart guy, right? We can agree, pretty smart guy, pretty cerebral. What if he is orchestrating this whole thing where he is like, guys, I'm coming back. I'll sign my extension. Heck, maybe I've already signed my extension, right? And but he's going on these coaching tours for LSU, for Florida, and guess what happens? When they play the Egg Bowl in November, and and he could say yes, he could be like, guys, I promise I'm coming. I promise I'm coming. And then, day of the Egg Bowl, he signs the extension. Florida and LSU are like, wait, what? You've been stringing me along this whole time? And then guess what they have to do? They have to scramble. You buy yourself a ton of time to, like, all the guys at LSU and Florida have been recruiting. Guess what? Those recruiting classes get weaker because everyone's going to be picking them off, right? Like, Lane Kiffin could be just setting up to sabotage LSU and Florida, two of Ole Miss's biggest competition, right? I think potentially this is just a long conspiracy for Lane Kiffin to try and sabotage both of these teams. They might make panic hires and LSU hires another Brian Kelly or whatever. Florida has to settle for another garbage G5 coach that they'll run into the ground because their boosters are a mess. Like, this is all just one big long scheme from Lane Kiffin to obviously get attention. He loves attention more than anything, but ultimately he's gonna, like, walk out of the tunnel in the Egg Bowl, sign his extension, and LSU and Florida are gonna be left at the altar, left to scramble and be set up for another future, bad coaching hire, hopefully. One long scheme. What do you think of my what do you think of my conspiracy theory?
It's smart. It's smart by Lane Kiffin if that's what he's doing because you're taking two very big names in the SEC and really just putting them behind the yards or the first down, for lack of a better word, I guess.
Yeah, putting them
Um,
behind the eight ball.
yep, behind the eight ball because like if you don't have for a coach who's going to come play for you? And so
Exactly.
if and the success that you're seeing at Ole Miss, it can't get much better than that. It really can't.
No.
Like beginning of the season to end of the season, they've been one of the top teams for the last few years.
Yes.
And it's not because of Jackson Dart, because we're seeing it this year.
Yeah.
And Lane Kiffin is a great coach, and I think Ole Miss loves him. I think he loves Ole Miss. So if this is really what he's plotting, then props to him, because that is just like beyond
Yeah.
me.
It feels a little too public, I guess is what I'm saying. Like
It does.
the whole like, oh, like the family's been seen in Florida and the family's been seen in LSU, right? Like it just feels a little too public. And now, like, yeah, if Ole Miss comes out and lays an egg in the Egg Bowl, nice little play on words there. Like, yeah, like it's probably a distraction to the team, like a huge distraction to the team, right? But like, if this is what he's doing, and if he were able to pull this off, it would be one of the greatest heists in SEC in SEC lore, right? Like this will be talked about for decades as, oh my gosh. And guess what? Like he'll sign the extension, and then in like 3-4 years, LSU or Florida or heaven forbid Georgia or Alabama are open at some point, and then guess who's at the top of everyone's list again in 2 or 3 years? It'll be Lane Kiffin, because they know like Lane can't get enough Lane Kiffin. So that's my conspiracy theory.
Love it.
That's my so yeah. Any other college football thoughts before we move on to the NFL?
Think so.
All right. NFL, have to start with the Chiefs. Lost to the Broncos on Sunday. Are we the panic button's kind of been sitting off to the side. Um, you know, when they started slow this season, we brought the panic button out. Then when they, started to put it back together, we were like, okay, we're gonna put this to the side. But now, they're 500. They're a couple games out of the playoffs. Is it officially time for Chiefs fans to hit the panic button?
Yeah. I mean, you really do have to win nearly every game that's on your schedule from here on out,
Right.
because another loss or two is going to keep you in that hunt, and you're going to miss the playoffs, which is very unheard of for Chief Nation these last few years. So
Mm-hmm.
you are definitely hitting the panic button. You really have to win every single game, and you probably need help from other teams in front of you. So you're not controlling your own destiny at this point if you're a Chiefs fan. And so yeah, you're definitely hitting the panic button for if you're a Chiefs fan.
Colts Chiefs this Sunday. We'll hopefully do a little NFL football preview before the weekend, but is this a must-win game for the Chiefs? And it's crazy because the Colts might be the best team in the AFC.
It's absolutely a must win. It's a must win for confidence, because you're going up against, again, the best team in probably the whole NFL, honestly, at this point. Um, and so you get the confidence, you get the win column, and more than anything, I mean, you see that you can still compete with anyone in the NFL, and that's what it comes down to this week. Is yeah, the Chiefs. This is a real must win for the Chiefs.
Yeah. Eagles, they played another primetime game and they ruined it for us. So one, Eagles are a good football team. We both agree on that, right?
Yes,
But it sucks watching them.
also true.
They should be banned from primetime games until one, Jalen Hurts figures it out. Two, the offensive coordinator gets fired or something happens there, right? And they start opening up the playbook again. Or like, I don't even know. It's unwatchable. You turn on an Eagles game and by halftime you're on your phone, you pulled up NBA League Pass on your iPad or phone or other TV, or you just have the Eagles game in the 4 box. Like, they are so hard to watch, and they're always in these big spots playing these good teams. And instead of it being an awesome game, like, there's a world, Jack, where that Lions game is like an awesome, 28-24 kind of game. And the Lions offense definitely was horrible on fourth down, and that's one of the reasons why they didn't win. Right? Their defense is awesome. But like, that game could have been so much more enjoyable to watch, but the Eagles just make everything not fun.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you play the Eagles, it seems like this year it's just a slugfest. Fest. You just you're gonna pass for like 150 yards, and then you're gonna see the ball get carried about 35 times. Um, and that's what you're gonna get out of the Eagles this time of year. It's for them is winning ball, but no one wants to see a push tush 4 times in a row. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, and so that's what it comes down to. Yeah, they're 8-2. They're still getting wins, but it's not fun to watch.
No, it's not inspiring at all. The Packers, Jack, our resident Packers fan, will check in with you. Got to win this weekend, but how are we feeling?
It's so frustrating. I just I think back to when we had a good quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, and I continue to question myself as to why we are not drafting wide receivers, and instead we're drafting guys like Jordan Love with our first round picks. And
You guys
that's
drafted
just
Marcus Golden this year.
yay, Matthew Golden without a guy that can throw it to him.
Mm.
Anyway, so that's what it comes back down to. It's like I feel like the Packers, yeah, they're always fine, but it seems like they always make the wrong decision in the front office somehow, some way. The talent will always be there for the Packers. You got Micah Parsons. Jordan Love is a starting quarterback in the league. You got a good wide receiver core, not a Pro Bowl or anything like that. And then you got Josh Jacobs. And so, yeah, you have good teams, but it seems like they're always somehow messing something up in the front office. And that's how I feel like right now. It's, oh, we're drafting wide receivers when we have a decent quarterback. Where was this when we had a Hall of Famer quarterback? Um anyway, super long-winded for the Packers, but at the end of the day, they just play to the level of their opponent. If they're playing the Eagles, they're going to play like an 8-2 team. If you're playing the Giants, you're going to play like a 3-7 team. If you're playing the Colts, you're going to play as an 8-2 team. So that's what's frustrating the most is whoever they're playing, that's how they're going to play as well.
Yeah. Uh, Rams and Seahawks played. Obviously the Eagles are, number one in the NFC right now, defending Super Bowl champions. But in my opinion, that Rams Seahawks game was for the best team in the NFC. We saw the Rams take it. They forced Darnold into 4 interceptions. Um, still a game at the end, which was crazy after all those turnovers as well. What was your takeaway from this game? And are the Rams the team to beat in the NFC right now?
Absolutely. Honestly, I think the Rams are as good as a football team as you're going to come by. I mean, 4 interceptions, and then you on the other side you got Matthew Stafford throwing to an older Devonte Adams. He still has it. A prime Puka Nakua, and then you got Kyron Williams, a top 10 running back in the league. So the Rams are deep, and they're really, really, really good at football.
Yeah, that defense is nasty. I don't think it gets enough love. Obviously, Stafford's playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL this season. He's in MVP talks. And again, Jack, like we've talked about it multiple times, it comes down to coaching. If McVay was coaching the Eagles and Sirianni was coaching the Rams, who's the best team in the NFL?
The Eagles.
Yeah. So Give me and let's not forget they were up 26-7 on the Eagles this season, and they were the one team that played the Eagles close in the playoffs on the road in the snow last season. So if the Rams are able to get home field advantage this season, and the Eagles have to come and play the Rams, I think it's the Rams. I think it's the Rams conference to lose at this point. Like you said, Puka and Devontae Adams, like one of the best wide receiver duos in the league right now. Everyone's freaking out over 13 personnel and what the Rams are doing. That's all any NFL film guy talks about is how awesome it is to watch the Rams play 13 personnel. They're getting it done. On the contrary, Jack, there's teams in the AFC that we didn't expect to be here this season. The Broncos, the Colts, and the Patriots. They're all leading their division. They all have 2 losses. Would you take one of these 3 teams or the field in the AFC?
I would take the Patriots. I think I would take the Patriots over.
Okay.
I would take the Broncos. I would take the Broncos because of the defense.
So you're okay. So you're taking at the end AFC Championship game, the winner is one of those 3 teams. Is what you're thinking?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I think so. And I think it's going to be the Broncos because of the defense. I don't
Okay.
think the Patriots or the Colts defense match up the way that the Broncos defense have been playing this year.
They're
If they
the
do,
AFC Eagles.
yes. Yeah. And if they do, I like Bo Nix over Daniel Jones. I like Bo Nix equal to Drake May. And I also think that the Broncos have a lot more weapons on offense that they can move the ball to. So I do think it's going to be one of those 3 teams, though.
You're out on the Bills, out on the Ravens, out on we already talked about it, out on the Chiefs, if those teams are 5, 6, and 7,
Oh gosh,
you,
this is it's nuts.
you're taking the top 3 versus the bottom 3. It's okay if the answer is
I think
yes.
I am. I really do think I am. Because I've not been impressed. I mean, Lamar Jackson has been hurt.
Yeah,
Derrick Henry's a shell of himself this year.
right.
The Bills, I just don't think the Bills have enough
The
offensive
defense.
power. I don't think
To
they
me,
have the
it's the
offensive
defense.
power either. They don't have a receiver that is really the clear cut, get the ball to this guy.
With the best quarterback in the NFL, I don't know if you necessarily need that.
Right.
But it would help if they had obviously the wide receiver room doesn't have a Puka or a
Even give
Jackson
him
Smith
like
and
a Michael
Jigba.
Pittman. Give him a
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs. Like, he's working with Keon Coleman and Shakir. Like, but anyway, yeah, it is. It does.
Is Kincaid the best receiver on the field for them?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's concerning, but it is. You're also talking about Josh Allen, the best quarterback in the league. So, but yeah, I mean, I just don't think they have enough weapons outside of Josh Allen on just as a full football team.
Yeah. I think I want to agree with you, but when it comes down to it, if it's Mahomes and Allen and Jackson versus Bo Nix, Daniel Jones, and Drake May, who of the last 3 guys, Drake May is definitely a dude, right? Like his I heard this stat on one of the podcasts I was listening to this week. I think it was Mike Sando, possibly. But Drake May has like a 80% success rate at like throwing to a receiver, and for it being a catchable ball, right? Whereas a guy like JJ McCarthy is only accurate like 45% of the time. Ugh. Right. Exactly. Nine stinks. Nine stinks. May is a quarterback that can go toe to toe, but the rest of that Patriots team, I don't know if they can. And so for that reason, I'm taking the field. I think Josh Allen, who, by the way, they still like they're 7-3. If they beat the Patriots and they're able to close out the season strong, they could easily be in a top 2 seed. Um, like I'll still take the Bills, I'll take the Chiefs, and I'll take the Ravens, but it's a tough decision. It's a tough decision, but Daniel Jones and Bo Nix over the three guys who have been there, done that in the AFC. That's a lot to ask.
It is. I mean, I just keep thinking like, how crazy would it have been to hear this conversation happening 3 months ago,
Oh,
saying, "Oh, do you think that Bo Nix, Daniel Jones, and Drake May could outperform Josh Allen, Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson? Do you think they're gonna get it done in the playoffs?" Like, to hear us have this conversation is just absolutely mind-boggling to me.
right. And the Bills are the only team in this conversation that still have a chance at winning their division.
Right,
Like
right.
like the Chiefs would still have to go through the Chargers, who got destroyed, and the Broncos just to even get to winning the division, so that's done. The Colts are gonna run away with the division in my opinion. It's the Patriots or the Bills. The other division, it's up in the air as to whether Baltimore or Pittsburgh wins. Now that Baltimore is 5-5, I think they probably win the division, especially with old Rodgers, with a broken wrist, which sucks. Um, I like this NFL season just got flipped upside down by a bunch of teams that we didn't that we thought the Broncos would be good. We thought the Patriots would be improved, but Broncos and Patriots and the Colts have flipped this season upside down. And I don't know if there was a single person who had Broncos Rams or Broncos Colts or sorry, Broncos Rams or Colts Rams in their Super Bowl picks at the beginning of the season. But that's in play. That's in play.
I have to.
And I think it adds a whole lot of intrigue to the playoffs that just hasn't been there in the past because we like it's always just been, oh, it's one of the three guy or four guys if you include Burrow and the AFC, but this year it's not that. It's just not. And I can't wait.
Oh, it's awesome. I love it. I love the parody and everything.
Yeah. All right. Gone 50 minutes, Jack. Any final thoughts before we close out the show?
No, I think I'm good. Covered everything I wanted to talk about with football.
Awesome. As I said before, went to the TCU game on Saturday. Great game. BYU looked like a playoff team that game, and LJ Martin looked healthy. Those are my BYU thoughts. At some point, we'll have to talk about what happened on the basketball floor with old AJ and against UConn. And, Champions Classic was tonight. We have some great games tomorrow. I would probably trade my unborn firstborn son for Braden Smith right now.
Wow.
So I have a lot of college basketball thoughts that I need someplace to go, Jack. Oh, actually, I have one more thing. Did you see the Sam Levitt news?
I did not.
Yeah, so Sam
And
Levitt
wait, is it
was
about BYU?
no.
Okay, no.
So it was reported that Sam Levitt is doubtful to return to ASU next season. That was reported by On3, Pete Nakos. Jack, as someone who wants Kenny Dillingham to remain an Arizona State Sun Devil for the rest of his career, and I thought that he's gonna stay true to who he is and stay at Arizona State and not leave this offseason. I think Sam Leavitt probably leaving, according to sources. Obviously, his brother and his agent Dallin Leavitt um said that Sam hasn't made a decision yet. Very interesting reporting battle going on there. Lots of drama, lots of fireworks, but it just sucks. Sam Leavitt should stay at Arizona State. Um, if he's playing for LSU or Georgia or Florida or Oregon next season, that's gonna suck. That's gonna suck. Do I get it from him? Yes, because ASU's returning receiving core is bad. Like Jordan Tyson's leaving, and what's left in that room is not great. They'd need to bring in a whole lot of transfers, but it just sucks. It's what, November 18th. We have a whole like college football playoff. Like we still have rivalry weekend, conference championship game weekend, and the number one story today in college football was Sam Leavitt's probably not coming back to ASU. If you follow the dominoes, maybe that means Dillingham's not coming back to ASU, which also sucks. Um, there's a lot of great things about college football, but it sucks. It's a bummer. Um, so yeah, that's my final thoughts. Sorry to end it on a downer note. Ryan
Oh, what
Dunn
the
just
tragic.
yeah. Oso Ighodaro just dunked it, so I'm still happy.
There you go. There you have it.
All right. Just to recap the show, Alabama's not the best team in the SEC anymore. Jack knows ball. He called the Bears season. Um, let's see. Georgia will play in the national championship. That's my early bird take. Jack says that the college football playoff will expand to 16 teams because of the snubs. I think that's a pretty I think that's a pretty good take right there. Lane Kiffin is trying to sabotage LSU in Florida. Um, and Jack's taking the Broncos, Colts, or Patriots to win the AFC. That's what we learned on today's show. Thank you guys for listening or watching. You can watch us on YouTube. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, anywhere you can listen to podcasts. We're there. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and we'll see you guys soon.
Peace out.